The Dr. Ray Podcast is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio. Here's today's monologue with Dr. Ray Guarendi.
Does the name Pavlov ring a bell? Ivan Pavlov was a Russian physiologist, a scientist, who did some experiments with dogs. He noted that dogs salivate at the sight of food. He thought, okay, let's see if I ring a bell, then, hence the name Pavlov, ring a bell. Okay, I'm catching you up here. I ring a bell, present the food, usually about a half second apart. If I remember my classical conditioning education, it was the best connection to make a classical conditioning response is about a half second. Rang the bell, showed the food. Dogs salivated because they saw the food. After several pairings of the bell food, only the bell alone could elicit salivation. The bell, through repeated connection with the food, elicited the same response. Pavlov was called the father of classical conditioning. Now, where am I going with this? Is this just Psych 101 for learning theory? No. I think it has a real word application. Real world, not real weird. A little Freudian slip there. Application. Many of you either had or remember the look as you were growing up. Your parents would give you the look. And it would stop you dead in your tracks. There's no discipline in the look. But you knew to obey it. How did this happen? How did something as benign as a look? Now you could say, well, no, that was a firm look. No, it was a scowl. No, it was looking over the glasses. No, it was putting the newspaper down and looking over the newspaper. Sometimes it wasn't even a look. It was, nevertheless, it was all just basic, generic stuff. There was no discipline involved with the look. Why? Why did the look work? Refer, please, to the earlier page about Ivan Pavlov. Classical conditioning. Probably there were those times early on when your parents, or you, because I know a lot of you have raised your children and your generation generally had the look. The newer generation does not have the look, by the way. Just as an aside, they don't have the look. Nowadays, they look at a kid, the kid looks back. What are you looking at? You want some of this? I don't think you want to go around with me. It's kind of what happens. Why'd they have the look? Because the look initially was paired with discipline. Classical conditioning. They looked, they disciplined. After a few pairings like that, the look itself came to elicit the response. It was the warning bell, if you will, and that is why the look worked. Classical conditioning. You or your kids experienced the look or some variant thereof, and you knew that if that were ignored, action was coming. You didn't want the action, so the look was sufficient. My dad used to bounce the look off our heads at Mass all the way down the pew. By the time it hit me, I was at the end of the pew. My two sisters and my brother were in between us. By the time it hit me, it had enough juice in it. I still wet myself. We'd get up. We'd go to communion. I'd come back, stand at the end of the pew, let my sisters go in. And the Italian Catholic ladies at St. Anthony Parish, which was the parish of Mother Angelica in Canton, Ohio, by the way. All Italians had to go to St. Anthony. They all looked and said, see, look at that. Look at how nice he is. I bet he's going to be a priest. Probably skip priest, just go straight to cardinal. Look at him, letting his sisters go in. Waits on them. Now, wasn't it? I wasn't going to sit through end-of-mass announcements in urine. If you have the look, I'm going to tell you, you are now a minority among parents, and I believe you're elite among parents, because the look substitutes for discipline, but you don't have to discipline. It works. When's the last time you read a parenting book about the look? Think about it. All the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of parenting books and articles out there, I have never come across one that talked about the look. But yet the look was such an endemic part of parenthood for so long. I dare say for millennia, up until the last couple generations. I think the look is something to be admired. And you don't have to scowl. The best looks are a glance. Just a kind of tilt of the head, look over, send a warning. They're getting rambunctious. You're aware. The bell goes off. They start to salivate. And you give them food. M&Ms. The look. Silent but effective discipline.
More of Dr. Ray's Manologues can be found on his website, drray.com. Manologues, as well as full-length programs of The Doctor Is In, can be heard at AveMariaRadio.net and EWTN.com/radio.